Yes, this is what we're doing in P4. It's just equations of lines. First one is just the slope thing. Oh, fine. Matt, what goes up in the top? Tell me the numbers you put in order. Nice. Oh, no, stick with it. Okay, now be careful. Now, what do you have to do? What's the order? What order must it be on the bottom? Oh, you did the old switcheroo. You did -7 minus -10, the y's. So you must do what? What order must you go in? Switch what you said. You must do 4 minus 19 now. In your mind, you made this the second coordinate and this is the first. So that's the x2, y2. Okay, but it doesn't really matter. If you do -7 minus -10, then you must do 4 minus 19. Okay? And then all that happens, this ends up being a positive numerator. Please no minus a negative. I shouldn't have to teach that. And then 4 minus 19 equals -15. Matt, not to keep harping on this. If you switched them, the negative just would have been on the top and the positive on the bottom, which is still a negative slope. So it doesn't matter which way you go with that. The other class, I did not do this one, but I do want to cover this right now, and I'll get a student. My microphone's in the way there. I don't know if that made a sound when I did this. Nice, student number 5, Jake from State Farm. Sorry, did you ever hear that before? All right, cool. All right, so do this one. Who goes up on the top? What numbers? I don't care which order you do, but then the second one, you got to stick with it. So you're going to do 5 minus 9? Oh, no. Then what's on the bottom? -1 minus -1. What's -1 minus -1, by the way? So what does that end up being? It is undefined. You cannot divide by 0. Every year, I usually describe why that's the case, and it really doesn't go anywhere. Right? You just got to remember, divided by 0 is undefined. 0 divided by a number is actually 0. Right? We got to make those two indications there. So I didn't do that last hour. I guess it would have been fine if I didn't. It's not a big deal. Boom shakalaka. Student number 4, nice. Malik, get ready. Okay, good. I do have this. If you look at your worksheet, look at numbers, I think 3, 4, or 4, 4, 5. I don't know. I couldn't put them away, but they definitely have a question like this. And Malik, all I'm going to tell you is this. Here is your slope formula. M equals, let's go ahead and say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And a question like this, you got to problem solve. You just got to insert the parts that are given and then see what's left over. So Malik, do you have M? And can I make that a number? What is it? That's how you do this one. You just put in the missing parts, or put in the parts that you have, and then solve for the missing part. Now you got to make a choice. It seems like everyone's going this way, but you tell me what you want to do next. You want a number there, or do you want that to be y? It's up to you. Okay, so you're going to go 3 and then minus y. I heard you. Again, be careful. What's got to be on the bottom now? Absolutely. You cannot change the order on the x's. So now you're stuck with -2 minus 4. Not that you're stuck. Okay, and then you go through a process of solving. -3 equals. Stuck with 3 minus y in the top. That can't be anything. This is -6. Malik, this is just like solving equations yesterday. What do I do when I have a fraction? Or what can I do to both sides on this to get rid of that fraction? And it would be multiplied by -6. A negative for sure. Both sides, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. And then Malik, sometimes people mess this up. What will we do next? Not divide by 3. That's been a common thing throughout the day. All right, this is +3 minus y. So how do I get rid of +3 by bringing it across? Yeah, and again, if you divide it by 3, then everything gets divided by 3. Is that really what you wanted to do? Yes or no? No, and that's what I want everyone to understand. This is a common error that students make. No, it's a subtraction. And then what we actually have is -y. So that 3 is positive, so I must, understand that. And then what's y equal to at the end? And then this was just a solving for what is the missing component. So that is the answer. You're missing that y coordinate. That y coordinate would have to be negative 15 for the line to have a slope of negative 3. So really that's all it is. It's just plugging in the missing parts and solving. Sorry, my y's look like 4s. That is the y, that is the variable. Okay, so in your homework, they have a couple questions where they're missing a part, and that's all you do with it. I guess I could zoom in on part A of example 2. Notice part A, in example 2, it says write it in slope-intercept form. Well, that's slope-intercept form, and I bet you that's the one that everyone knows. And I'll stick with that one. That's the one I'll stick with as far as using. But you know what? I do want to write another one in case somebody likes this. This is my favorite one to work with, which is point slope form, but I won't use it in the notes. If you wanted to and you used it back in the past, go for it. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, does anyone remember that one? Raise your hand if you remember that one. If you want to use that one, go for it. My notes won't show that because I think the majority of students use the y equals mx plus b. But let's go in on this one. Hopefully you wrote all that stuff down there. Whoops, sorry. Zoomed in up there. Let's get a student to keep them, make them alive and fire that brain. Carolina, right? This one's different. This one says find slope-intercept form, and then this is a mess right here. So I need to put this in this format right here. So what does that mean you have to do? Good. You need to solve for, say it. So you said move the x. How do you move that x? What operation? Absolutely. And this does not subtract with 12. So this becomes 5y equals negative 2x plus 12. Ain't no thing, chicken wings. And then what do you do at the end? Try to get y by itself. And then in this case, you do want to divide by 5, and because it is multiplication, and we could just keep it as that. Now we know what the slope is. It's negative 2/5. And I'm going to write this too, just as a note to self. If they ask you what the slope is, that's easy. The y-intercept, I really want this in coordinate form because it does make me sad how many students make a y-intercept on the x-axis. A y-intercept is always 0, 12/5. 0, the coordinate in question. And that would go up 12/5. That's 1 2/5, if you cared about that. And then that would tell you how to graph it. Hopefully you understand a negative slope line is going down as you read left to right. Drop 2, run 5 to the right. That's what negative 2/5 means from one coordinate to the next. Okay, all right, stalling as people are writing that down. Let's get that next student. Nice. See, we're rolling along. Nothing's been too hard. 9, Adam, you ready? Nice. Haven't you gone before? Have you gone a lot? Okay. This one ain't too bad. Hey, here you go. I'm going to put this as you're writing this down. I'm going to put this down. It's kind of like, well, it's not like Malik's question, but it is. If I know this is slope-intercept form, and I'm given that information, I write my slope-intercept form down, and I see if I can substitute stuff. So what can I do? I have something to put in for y. You are correct. So you remember this. What do I put in for m? What do I put in for x? Do I have anything for b? That's what we're trying to find, right? So then we can fill in the parts for what the equation is with this given information. This might be where you use point slope form. Whoever raised their hand, it works the same. It would give you the same answer. By the way, this is a half. I'm going to make this negative 4/2. Because when I subtract a half from both sides, Doyle, oh, that's Adam, sorry. Oh, no, I said your last name on the internet. You can sue me. Nice. He's on YouTube now. All right. What's negative 4/2 minus another 1/2? What's negative 4 minus another 1? Nope. Negative 4. I owe $4 over here, and I owe another dollar over there. How many dollars do I owe? 5. So it's negative 5 over 2, negative 5 halves. Fractions 101. I like practicing them with the seniors because the fraction rules just throughout the years have been horrible, horrible, horrible. And we got to, and yeah, I'm going to say it. You should know how to deal with fractions. You're seniors in high school. There shouldn't be anything wrong with me saying that. All right? We keep working on it. I try to show it throughout the year that you get used to these because it is going to come that you need to know how to deal with fractions. It already has happened a little bit. You know, that thing that we did Friday, the little game thing. Okay, good. All right, let's see the next section. Okay, now we got these passes through, passes through. Ooh, nice. I think I'm just going to do this one. I don't think I did letter D. I think we had enough. This one's special. Okay? All right, here we go. Special like the one we've had before. And then we can talk about some stuff. Nice! Adam. Calculator loves you. You didn't see it. It was you again. Okay, so what do we got to do on this one? So this is what I want. But what am I missing that I got to find first? Slope. Good. What is the slope? Shove in some numbers in their appropriate spot. Good. Nice. Oh no. What is 2 minus 2? What is 12 over 0? What does that mean? Oh no. So then what is they didn't ask for the slope. They asked for the equation of this line. And I'm gonna try to remind you, even if you do you know the equation of the line? What kind of line is it? Oh, all lines are straight. Vertical. Here, you know how I know that? 2 points make a line. It's very simple. 2 comma, let's just pretend this is negative 5. 2 comma, let's pretend that's 7 up. Ooh, who's thirsty? And then you connect these two. What kind of line is that? Don't say straight, don't say red. It's vertical. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. Adam, and what's the last name again? Look at where I'm at. See? You see this? What axis is this, by the way? The x-axis. And then what's that number right there? What number is that right here? Nope. So for the x value, what number is that on the x-axis? Huh? No, just look over here. 2. That's the equation of the line. On the x-axis, you cross 2. That's a trick to remember what the equation of a vertical line is. The equation of a vertical line is always x equals a number. This is just going to have to be memorization. There is no plugging into this. This doesn't work anymore when you get a slope that's undefined. You just need to know that vertical lines are x equals numbers. By the way, what are horizontal lines then? What do you think? Y equals, and I can explain that one. For horizontal lines, 0 is in the numerator. 0 over a number does equal 0. 0 times x is gone. You just end up with y equals a number. Fumble! All right, and a big fumble of notes over there. Okay, so y equals a number is horizontal lines. X equals a number is vertical lines. Please write that down and have it memorized. All right, for sure. All right, then you're not going to like this one too much. So definitely get this written down. I'll zoom in on this, then I'll slide over. This is called standard form. And then all the way over there, it just says that A, B, and C must be integers. So I'll write that here just to shorthand it. Are integers. So it's just a different form of an equation of a line. We actually could go to the previous questions and then just convert it into standard form very simply. And that's what's going to happen in these new examples. All right. By the way, what is an integer? Best way to say it is what it's not. It's not a fraction, not a decimal. No fraction, no decimal. So it's a real picky form to ask you to do this. There is some use to it, though, and there is a purpose in some cases. So you should be aware of it, I guess. All right? And that's all that says over here. A and B and C should all be integers. I just put it here so we're all looking at it in one spot. But here's the biggest problem that students do. They remember this, maybe as a form, but then when they get a question, they try to go right to it, and you can't. You still got to use y equals mx plus b. So I will say that right away here. So writing equations in ax plus by equals c form. And then there's your first example of it. Standard form. All right, and then let's go get a student. What if it's Adam again? Oh, okay. Maths, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Matt, I'm just going to give you what you got to do. You can't start with standard form. You got to start with this form because the given information here fits in this nicely. So what do I put in for y as you're writing that down?
5.
Correct. What do you put in for m?
3/2.
Ain't no thing. And then what do you put in for x? Oh, shoot. And then we don't know b, and that's the whole point. But then after this, we got to do something. I'm going to cowboy this. Yeehaw. Move this over here because I didn't use my space wisely. All right, and then Matt, right?
Yep.
We got to know what negative 2 times 3 halves is. What does that become? Which is? Negative 3. We should just know that 2's cancel, and then it's just negative 3. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3 to both sides. We should be able to do that as a CAT student. Understand that that is negative 3, and I need to undo it. So b equals 8. And then Matt, y, bring the y back. Bring the 3 halves back and the x, and then insert that 8 in there. Okay, but now that's point slope form. They need ax plus by equals c, so no fractions. First of all, let's get rid of that. What are we going to multiply both sides to get rid of fractions? Well, just 2. Because if you do 2 over 3, then you would have a fraction on this 8. Then there would be a 3 on the bottom, and you just want to get rid of the denominator. Isn't this what we did yesterday, right? When we had fractional equation solving, we multiplied by the least common denominator to get rid of that. And then Matt, you got to do, it's Matt, right? I don't know why I keep short-term memory guy here. You got to do one more thing. I'll take care of this. How do I get this into this form? Right there, you can see it. What's wrong? What am I going to move? What am I going to move here?
You have to move the x over.
Okay, how would you move the x over?
Subtract it.
Subtracting 3x from both sides. I would hope as a CAT student, meow, you could understand that I subtracted that 3x. But then you remember, I didn't say this real stickler wise. Notice what it says right here. What does that mean about A for Lockport math teachers? What do we want A to always be? Or positive. Positive. So how can I flip this so that negative 3 is positive? What could I divide both sides by? And they really do want you to do this in, say you got transferred to another math teacher. I probably would be fine with you putting negative 3x plus because I feel like it's a semantic. It's like a minor detail. The purpose of standard form is standard form can be used in a formula for something, and it doesn't really matter if A is positive. So I just feel like it's being picky. But not being picky about standard form, no fractions, so we had to get rid of the fractions, and then you do want the x and the y by itself on one side. So I went ahead and divided by a negative to make sure that last thing worked. All right, and then just this kind of puts those two things together, and then I don't have too much more to do. Let's get another student, random. Jake, nice. I told you you can't go to standard form. You got to go to this, but is this good, or do you have to do something else? What am I missing in y equals mx plus b besides b? M. How do I find m? Give me the numbers. 1 minus 9 over? Negative 1 minus negative 3, right? And then this is, I think this ends up working out, negative 8, meaning not a fraction. That's plus 3. Negative 1 is 2. That becomes negative 4. Next, fill in those parts. Tell me what goes where. Okay, now I'm just going to simplify this. Make a choice. Either pick the first coordinate or the second coordinate. It does not matter. So go ahead. What do I plug in for y? 1? I thought you said 1. Okay. And then I put in m for you. What do I have to put in for x now? Have to put this in since you picked 1 for y. -1 is x.